This is Josh with Frankly Cigars, and I'm here with Rob, who's known online as Cheerlime or Smokey Banks. He was one of Uncle Sam's misguided children. That's 0311. That's the tip of the spear if you know. And if you don't know, please don't ask because it's not going to be something that we want to talk about. He's a Christ follower, a grandpa. You can call him Papa if you're this tall, but otherwise you have to call him Rob. He does future trading, is a music connoisseur, and a Mozart fan. Did I leave anything out, or we did pretty good?
No, you did pretty well.
See, the crack team, the crack research team
Yeah.
is pretty good. How long were you in the Marine Corps for?
I was in for 4 years, from
Okay.
93 to 97.
Okay.
I was stationed in Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii, with the 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines.
Well, thank you for your service. And
It was an honor to serve.
Because I do know what 0311 means, thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Thank
no
you. And I'm actually a little afraid of you if we're being completely honest.
Don't be, man. I'm a very nice, easygoing guy. I'm very quiet.
Yeah, now you are.
Yeah, not all Marines are crazy, but some of us are.
Well, I didn't say that. You said that all Marines were crazy.
Yeah.
When did you smoke your first cigar?
I smoked my first cigar in the Marine Corps ball
Okay.
back in, I believe I got my commission as a corporal, I want to say 95. And
Okay.
one of the traditions is that you smoked a cigar. Now, with the budget, they didn't give us a premium top-notch cigar. So it was like a Philly blunt. And we really didn't know how to smoke cigars because we smoked cigarettes. So basically, we were just inhaling them and not enjoying them.
Wow.
But,
yeah. High dress uniform. I'm going to
I think we were in our service blues.
Okay.
We were in our service blues. My actual first premium cigar was the EGM Ponderosa.
Okay.
That one was fabulous. That was the first time that I've actually was able to taste the difference between a regular tobacco and what they were actually saying in the profile. So I was able to taste the creaminess and things of that nature.
And it's funny because sometimes you read those profiles and those reviews and you're like, really?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like cashews and orange? Like, I don't know. I don't know that I've ever gotten that from a cigar, but okay.
Yeah.
I think sometimes they just take them out of a hat and they're like, okay, we have these 5 things and we're going to write them down as the review. And just kind of go from there. What's your favorite drink to pair with your cigar?
It's coffee. Coffee goes with everything. I really don't like to drink the alcohol with my cigars because the taste of alcohol for me and my palate, it overwhelms the cigar. So even if I have, let's say, a Maduro or a full body cigar, and I do have like a Maker's Mark, or if I have something strong, that it tends to linger on my tongue, so I really can't taste the flavor of the cigar. Now with coffee, I have no problem with it. And I drink a dark espresso or a dark roast with coffee mate creamer. And that's the perfect pairing for me.
It's funny because we interviewed Ricky Rodriguez with West Tampa, and he said he drinks a Bud Light because it doesn't taste like anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, there goes the sponsorship from Bud Light. But I mean, outside of that, excellent job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flabbergast you for a second because this is what I drink out of.
See that? Oh, God.
This is from a gentleman came in and he came into the shop and he wanted cigars for his dad because that was his dad's call sign. And so he came back after the funeral and gave me his dad's mug. So that's his dad's F4 mug, and that's you can't see it, but it's the insignia is pretty much worn off.
Right.
But to get a ship's mug from somebody for just helping out and getting a couple cigars was amazing. And he said, make me a promise that you'll drink as much coffee out of it as you do whiskey. And I was like, no, my dad was in the Navy. I know exactly what this mess mug means, and I know exactly what the brotherhood is of it and everything else. What's your best advice to a new cigar smoker?
Drop the ego. The best advice I can give for the new cigar smoker is to go into a reputable cigar lounge, find a well-versed or well-known tobacconist, and don't be afraid. Don't be scared to say, hey, look, this is my first time smoking cigar, because you don't want your first experience to be with something that's going to turn you off. So let them know what your tastes are. Like if you like spicy food, if you like coffee, if you like desserts, that way that your tobacconist can recommend things for you in order for you to get the right cigar, because there's nothing worse than getting an expensive cigar and then you come to find out that you hate it and it's your first one. Now you've missed out on the whole line and the lifestyle of cigars because the person wasn't was too insecure or was too afraid to say, "Hey, look, I'm new. Please guide me and help me."
So how much time was in between your first kind of forced cigar and your actual first purchase of a cigar? Like, was it right away? Did you kind of say, okay, let me try this again? Or what was the
Say that again,
timeline?
please.
The timeline between when you had your cigar at the Marine Corps ball and then
Uh-huh.
when you purchased your first cigar?
Oh, it was years. It was years
Okay.
because I was a cigarette smoker.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and then one day, actually, what happened, what turned me from cigarettes
Mhm.
to cigars was EGM. As I was scrolling through the social media, I ran across the EGM page, and the way that they marketed and the way that they made it seem, it was just out of this world. So I said, well, let me try it. Now, I did the exact same thing in the sense of what I told you about going to the back of this. I was just basically looking at the band. If the
Oh,
band was
wow.
cool, I would pick it up and find out that, hey, this cigar is not for me.
Now, Rob, don't say that the marketing department of every cigar company is now turning over and clicking and they're starting the
Yeah.
machine of industry to make prettier bands and not make better cigars.
Yeah, but it's, I would say it's been at least I got out of the Marine Corps at 97, so I would
Mhm.
say at least 10, 15 years.
Wow. Okay. What's your biggest unwritten cigar rule violation that you dislike?
When people go into a cigar lounge and they treat it as if it's their home or their living room,
Hmm.
or they're trying to be the center of attention, or they are sorry for the noise. Or when they come in and they're bragging about the cigars, or
Right.
they just don't make it seem like it's an equal level. It's like, hey, I'm better than you, or I know more than you, or this is my area. No, the
Hmm.
cigar lounge is for everybody. It's for all
Yeah.
walks of life. It doesn't matter if you're an executive CEO
Mhm.
or you're a plumber or blue collar guy. We're all there to enjoy the cigar,
Yeah.
to share stories, and to get friendships and connections.
No,
It's not a competition of who's the best or who can smoke the best.
and you basically, like you said, leave your ego at the door, especially like that.
Yes.
That information that you had for the new cigar smoker can work for a current cigar smoker as well. That like, look, I learn more about cigars than I ever thought that I would, but I
Mhm.
also know nothing. Like when I sit down with George Padron, I know nothing about
Yeah.
cigars. Like I legitimately have zero, have an infinitesimal amount of knowledge when compared to what George does about cigars. Now beards, I know a little bit more than George does,
Right.
but you know,
Right. Because you have that experience.
right, right. But I don't laud that over anybody. And anybody has like a beard. Oh, how'd you get your beard? I just let it grow.
Yeah.
That's what you, I
Exactly.
mean. That's what you do. Like, when was the moment you felt like a real cigar smoker? Like the moment it just clicked for you?
When I start paying attention and start appreciating the ritual,
Hmm.
the actual going into the humidor and looking at the cigars, choosing one, and then taking my time to cut it right, and
Right.
the lighting process, and the actual time for me to sit down there and let the world just slip away.
Yeah.
Because with cigarettes, it was basically, you got 10, 15 minutes, you pop one out of the case or the carton, you put it in your mouth, you light it, and you're done. But I've come to realize that with cigars, it's almost like a courtship in my sense. You're taking time with the cigar. You don't want to light the cigar too fast in order to burn it and to get that charred taste, but you
Right.
don't want to light it the wrong way to where you're getting all these problems with tunneling and relighting and things like that. So um, the moment that I also knew when I was a cigar smoker was it was funny is when I had to fight for my hobby and the lifestyle with my wife. I
Oh.
love her to death. Love her to
Oh.
death, but she is not a smoker and she hates the cigar smell. And so it was something that I was willing to give up everything else. If you want me to give up complete alcohol, I'll do it. If you want me to
Hold on.
take a
Wow, Rob.
shower,
Rob,
huh?
this is actually being recorded. Don't say these things. She can hold this against you later. No,
I've already
it's being
posted
recorded. The
it.
little button on the side says it's being recorded. Stop it, Rob. Stop. I'm saving you from yourself. No, you won't take a shower every day. Don't say that.
Yeah. So, but it was the fact that I was willing to stand up for it
Yeah.
and go toe to toe. Say, hey, look, this is something that I love. This is something that brings me joy. This is something that brings me peace and happiness. I enjoy it, and I would fight anybody tooth and nail.
And it's those serendipitous moments. Like it's the moment where you sit down and you're like, okay, this is really cool. And like you talked about the ritual, but that brings us to our next question. What's the last cigar that surprised you? Like you looked at it and you said, okay, let me cut this and light this, and you expected A and you got B instead.
Right. The Tabernacle Havana CC 124.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
one right there. Let me tell you about that
It
one.
might be the
I wasn't,
142.
huh?
It might be the 142. We might be
Yeah,
getting
it
the numbers
is the
wrong, but it's
142.
okay. Okay.
That one right there, I didn't expect a lot of it, but from the first light, it was a little bit peppery. But from the first third to the second third to
Yeah.
down to the nub, it was like chocolate. I mean, it was
Yeah.
smooth. It wasn't aggressive with my throat. The retro hail was pleasant. I literally had to slow down because if I didn't, I was going to go through it within maybe 30 minutes. It was that good.
And the pepper really doesn't fade away. It just becomes complementary. Like the
Right.
pepper is still there from the Cuban seed, and you can obviously tell that it's been made in that foundation of status. But it's
Mm-hmm.
just such an amazing cigar. I had it at a trade show, and I literally wouldn't put it down. And they're like, "Well, you can't come in booth A unless you put that cigar down." Then I will stand out here and have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with you, but I'm not putting this cigar down. Like it was
Yeah.
that. It was that. Have you had it in the Lancero?
No.
So it's
No.
incredible in the Lancero. It changes the ratios, and so that
Uh-huh.
Lancero you get much more wrapper and not as much
Uh-huh.
filler and binder, and it just has a different kind of texture on the palate. What's your favorite cigar now or ever?
It would have to be the Tabernacle.
Okay,
I also like the Encore. The EGM, I've had two of those, and those are pretty good.
yeah,
But if I were to buy a box, it would have to be the Tabernacle and the Encore.
yeah, and they're both great cigars from incredible companies, and I mean the stories behind them are incredible as well. I mean the Encore being from Crillo, and then the Foundation being from Tabernacle, they're both great, heavy, rich, but still kind of nuanced and still amazing cigars as well. Is there an
Right.
accessory you can't live without?
The draw tool.
Really?
Yes, and
Okay.
the reason for the draw tool is that with me starting my new cigar journey, I give everybody a shot.
Okay.
So even though that the reviews will say they're this and they're that,
Yeah.
I've run across some cigars to where when I cut and do the cold draw, it's like sucking cement through a straw.
Yeah.
And to me, it's I don't like it. I actually hate it when you spend good money on a cigar and you're constantly having to all the time in order to
Right.
get at least a good draw. But with that draw tool, it would save it. I mean, everybody has their own way of lighting a cigar. Everybody has their own way of cutting a cigar. But for me, the draw tool will be the essential tool in my kit.
And I said really because not because I don't believe in the draw tool, but just because it's the first time I've gotten the draw tool. I've heard punches, I've heard triple torch lighter, I've heard any number. One guy said his bag, like he has to have his bag with him when he smokes, and I'm like, I don't know how the bag figures into it, but all right. I mean, I guess if you're carrying a bunch of stuff, that's Have you ever met anybody in the cigar industry that you've been epically impressed by?
Right now, I haven't met any of the top tier people
Well,
in
it could be anybody.
anywhere
It
like
could
in
be
social
somebody.
media.
It could be somebody at shop. It can be somebody on social media. It can be somebody that you smoke with on Tuesdays. Like it's just anybody you've been epically impressed by. That's all.
There is this one. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right on the shop. It's the Independence
Mm-hmm.
Cigar Shop in Frisco.
Okay.
That was the first time I went into a cigar shop and said, "Hey, look, this is what my preferences are," and he walked me through the whole entire walk-in
Wow.
and said,
Okay.
"Hey, look, you want to try this and you want to try that." And the thing that I liked about it, he says, "These are the cigars that I smoke," and that's what sealed it for me because at
Right.
least I know from his experience something or a standard that I can expect to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as far as the social media, there are two gentlemen that I would like to kind of give acknowledgement and kudos to.
Yeah.
One is Fat Stogies.
Okay.
I have been a faithful follower of him, and he's a very nice guy. When I started my cigar review, I was asking him about pointers and things like that, and his ego didn't come into play. He was like, "Hey, look, this is what you
Right.
do. This is what I did, and if you need anything else, please let me know." The second person was Xavier from X-Rated Cigars. When I saw his page and I saw his presentation of the cigars, I wanted to find out how do I do that. And he didn't hold anything back. He's like, "Well, this is what I did. Here's where I went to," and he was
Wow.
very humble. So it wasn't like he was saying that he was all that in the bag of chips. He says, "I'm still learning," and he also sent an invitation to me saying that if you have any questions or if you have any
Wow. That's great.
suggestions or thing like
Yeah.
that, please reach out to me.
And that's incredible because there's a great quote that Walter Payton said, where he said, "When you're good, you tell everybody, and when you're great,
Right.
people tell you."
Right.
And I feel like there's a lot of guys in the cigar industry that have that similar kind of mindset where they're not going to gatekeep the information, and they're like, "Oh, if we need to do this, then you can go ahead and do that," and they actually become mentors, for us
Mm-hmm.
moving forward with doing our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've done a great job, Rob. You've come to the end of the interview, so the final question is: do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I have a question for you.
Okay.
And right now, like I said, I'm beginning to get into the cigar industry heavily, but what concerns me is the fact that since with me starting this off, the problems that are going on in Nicaragua the um, with their elections,
Mhm.
how does will that really affect the products that are coming out of Nicaragua? Will it become like what Cuba is with the embargo?
So it will affect it. And I've been a little bit of back history for me. If you don't know, I've been smoking since '96 and being self-taught since '97. I'm
Okay.
a certified retail tobacconist with Tobacconist University, and I was at a shop setting where I was the GM for probably about 8 years. So I've done this a while, and it will affect it. So about, I would say probably 5 years ago, there's a hailstorm in Connecticut, and it
Mm-hmm.
killed most of the Connecticut broadleaf. And so there isn't a Connecticut broadleaf shortage. It's just there's not the leaf, like it doesn't exist.
Right.
Anything that makes it difficult for someone to do business as they've normally done business is going
Mm-hmm.
to affect the export of goods from that country. So I don't have a crystal ball in front of me, and I can't say it's going to affect it A or B or Z or Y, but I do
Mm-hmm.
know that it will have an effect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I hope that it's not going to drive manufacturers and producers of cigars out of that arena. But if the past history and you being a Marine, a former Marine, you understand how history affects the present very vividly. Um, so I don't think it'll affect it in a similar way like the embargo did, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's going to have a definite negative effect on production and ease of movement through that country. I could be
Okay.
completely wrong, and I really hope that I am completely wrong. I hope that it continues to thrive despite tariffs and despite lack of elections and anything else like that. But um, when pressed with survival, people tend to let go of things that are um, frivolous and extra. So I think that a majority of the people in that country may be looking for a way to provide food for their families and may not be looking at, exporting cigar tobacco. But there will always be the, you know, American who wants things from other countries and wants, other things to kind of come across the board. I hope I answered your question. I
You
wasn't
did.
I wasn't
You
ready for
did.
that one. I was ready to explain the beard and the picture behind me, but I wasn't ready for
I'm a little bit deep.
I didn't know it didn't say political science major on the bio that I read earlier, but I mean I can go back and edit it to say political science major
Hey
if you
man,
would like,
anything that's
but
going to affect my cigar intake, that's a
right.
concern to me.
It is a concern. It is a concern, to be honest with you. I mean, there are a lot of companies that make cigars from tobacco of other countries because of the difficulties in those countries. There's a company that uses Haitian tobacco, and they don't roll in Haiti. They roll in the DR because there's not the people to roll in Haiti, and there's not the facilities to roll in Haiti. And there are other companies that do the same thing. Like Mexican tobacco is uh, exported a fair amount of time because it's not profitable to roll the cigars in Mexico without qualified rollers. So
Mm-hmm.
it will affect it kind of on a global scale. I don't know if that effect will be felt immediately because I imagine that some of the trade things are kind of already in place and will be executed to their degree. But I think
Okay.
maybe 2 or 3 years from now, it's not going to be as easy as it currently is, and that will of course increase the price and everything. But you're the day trader and the and in future. So I feel like I should ask you that question because you do more with futures than I do. I do a lot with the present and like recanting the past. But I gave you the questions before this. I felt like you should have given me the question before we started. No, but Rob, I seriously do appreciate the time.
It's been
Please
an honor and a
continue.
pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, wow. That means so much coming from you. And please continue on your journey. I will extend the same non gatekeeping that most people have when they interact with you. You're an absolute delight to interact with. You're very knowledgeable and very opinionated, which are both two things that you're going to need moving forward in this cigar industry. Um, if you have any questions, you have any comments or concerns, or you need to shake down a deal, or what do you know about this guy or that guy? I don't know everything.
Right.
But another great quote: "The more I learn, the less I realize I knew." So
Yes. Yeah.
it's one of those things. This has been Joshua Harris with Frankly Cigars with Rob, who's Cheerlime, and Smokey Banks on Instagram. Rob, thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it, sir. You take care.